What's up, my friends? I'm Stat, and we are doing a roundtable today. This is our 6th episode, and today we're talking about game fatigue and streamer burnout. Okay, so today I'm actually pretty tired today, so it's a little I'm not burnt out, but I feel tired, and it's funny because we're kind of talking about this, and there's something about streaming that is exhausting, and I don't think that everyone realizes how exhausting streaming is. And so a lot of people, when you first start streaming, there is a lot of pressure to just stream all the time and consistently go at it, no days off, especially if you're doing something else. When you're starting, it's not easy to do all those things and then succeed or try to succeed at live streaming. And there was actually a video that was it became like a viral video, and it was talking, I think the creator's name was Uber, and he put out a video and he was talking about how he spent 3 years, I think it was, working on his Twitch channel, and he felt like it wasn't going anywhere. He lost friends, and he was living in like a mess. I guess his house or his condo was messy, and it just kind of brings light to another side of live streaming that most people don't necessarily see. So when I saw that, it was very interesting. I watched the whole thing, and by him talking about that, it actually ended up being I guess a positive thing for him, because it seemed like really genuine and really emotional. And then he got I think Markiplier tweeted out his live stream, so people went to his live stream, and that is obviously a positive thing to come from that video. Because, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to go out there and say, hey, listen, I lost a lot of friends in the last 3 years. I'm living in a place that is messy because I don't take care of it. And he's, it's not easy. And so he did that, and obviously things are hopefully going to turn around for him. I don't really know. But the point is, we're talking about how you could spend so much time just focusing on streaming, and it's not necessarily a healthy thing to do that, to spend every free minute that you have live streaming. So when I first started, I streamed, I think it was, I don't know if it was 6 months or something. I forget if it was 3 or 6 months of nonstop streaming, no skip days, if not longer, I don't remember. And even from then on, I was still doing 6 days or 7 days a week with occasional days off. But like it's really difficult, and it's very tiring. And then add that to the fact that you're playing games that work for your channel, but isn't necessarily a game that you love. And that's part of the problem, is that, especially, I feel like, I don't know if it's the same on Twitch, because I haven't experienced it as much on Twitch, but I've definitely experienced it a lot on YouTube. And on YouTube, if you spend months and months and months playing a certain game, and you're building up that game, and then a new game comes out, and because you're open to trying new things, you basically want to switch over or play that other game that may not do so well on your channel. So then you're in this weird place where, do you stay focused on this one game and accept the fact that you cannot switch over to another game, or do you take a risk of basically destroying the community or losing the community that you built up for the last couple of months to switch over to a new game and start building up that community? And it's scary, because you have a hard time knowing if it's gonna work, And as of right now, I don't even know if hold on, let me just tweet this out. Let me make sure I just tweet this out here. Forgot to tweet it out, but all right, it's been tweeted. But yeah, I don't even know if my notifications went out today on this stream. I don't think they did, so that is a negative thing. Unfortunately, I don't think I got my own notification from my own channel, man. That's too bad. Anyways, we're gonna keep going. So yeah, back to what I was saying is, you're stuck on a game and you want to play something else, and this is, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how true it is on Twitch. Maybe we can get someone who streams on Twitch afterwards to explain in the sponsor, like when I open up the stream for people to talk who are sponsors, they can talk. Basically, they will come in, and maybe if they stream on Twitch, they'll know if this is the same or similar or completely different. But on YouTube, I can give you some examples of times that I felt like that was happening to me. So I feel like it happened to me when I was playing Agario. So back in the days to play Agario, and Agario was a game where you'd have like 100 people playing a server where you're all blobs and you have to eat each other. And it was a browser game, and there was a .io game, which was like a huge craze for a while. And so I jumped on that craze, obviously, and it was doing really well for me. I had my own custom servers and like all these different cool things. And then I tried to get away from Agario and started trying to do like Super Mario Maker and other games like that. And it wasn't as successful as Agario. So it's like you're in this weird spot where what do? Do you focus on the game that's bringing subscribers and you know, views, or do you switch to a game that you like, even though the views and this and you know the subscribers aren't necessarily there? And so there's this weird balance in your mind where you struggle. Like I struggled with that as well. Like, what do you do? And for me, I kind of tried to do both, but it always felt like when I was doing both, I was actually hurting both growth in both sections. So it's like if I was streaming Agario one day and then a Mario Maker the next day, or any other game that isn't related to Agario, like that wasn't an IO game like Slither, then I would have issues with both streams. Like I would stream Agario and the numbers would be less. It felt like they were less if I was doing both at the same time. And I unfortunately, you know, I don't know the answer, to be honest. The truth is, when you think about it, you need to stay in a genre, or you need to stay with one game. And you better hope that that game blows up, because that game doesn't blow up. When that game dies, you need to be able to transition that group of people, your community, to another game. So that is a struggle that a lot of people have. And I've mentioned it when it comes to Call of Duty, when it comes to, you know, other games like that. That Call of Duty is a very interesting game, because Call of Duty channels were in a weird spot where the last Call of Duty wasn't so good, didn't do so well, wasn't streamed that often. And the one before it was even worse. So Infinite Warfare was like, did terrible on live streams. And then World War II kind of did a bit better, but still wasn't very popular. And then, you know, these Call of Duty channels are like, oh, what do we do? And then all of a sudden Fortnite came out, and they all transitioned to Fortnite, and it's blowing up for them. And, you know, obviously that is a great situation to be in, where your community is ready to jump over to another game. But that's super rare and doesn't usually happen. And I think that, and number two is like the game that you're transitioning to may not be so explosive. Like Fortnite's a phenomenon. So obviously it's kind of an example that I don't like to give, because I don't know when the next time that's going to happen. Like the next Fortnite phenomenon, it could be a while away. We don't know. So the question is, when you start your channel, what is your intention? Are you willing to play only one game on that channel? And will you play that game until it's completely dead and you need to transition, or wait, basically have a channel where you do the same game, but you slow down, maybe stream less, waiting for, like, let's say Halo 6, or waiting for, you know, the next Battlefield to come out, basically. And for me, what I've done is, let's talk about another situation. Well, so I was playing Call of Duty. Well, after I said I would never play Call of Duty, I played Call of Duty, and I played Black Ops 3, and it was a lot of fun. And I liked the game, and I thought the multiplayer was fun, and I thought it was cool. And then it kind of like fell off that game a little bit, and the game also was slowly going downhill for me on my channel. I wanted to transition to another game, and it was extremely difficult. It was hard to play another game after Call of Duty. I couldn't get the same numbers. It was very difficult. And so that's what is, that experience to me was like, oh, I can't transition to another game. It's very difficult to do. So it makes you super nervous, like, about building a channel around one thing. So what I've started to do was basically have a main game and then try and play variety afterwards, even though I do believe that that is something that hurts my channel and the algorithm when you start to play multiple games on your channel. But I decided that, you know what, for my community who likes seeing a lot of things, and for myself who likes to play variety games, I basically was like at the point where it's like, I accept this. This is the reality that on YouTube, like if you do variety, it's extremely difficult. And that's why I play my main game and then switch over to something else. And right now I'm in a weird spot because I used to play a lot of PUBG, but PUBG recently has been extremely frustrating. So, you know, playing an unoptimized game where, you know, every game feels like, you know, you could run into a hacker or you die because of desync is very frustrating. It's not good for your health. So I slowed down a little bit on PUBG, started playing some Ring of Elysium, which is more of an unknown game. And it's obviously not the same. Like I do better with PUBG, but then, you know, I wanted to play Fortnite and I tried playing Fortnite on the channel and obviously it didn't work. There's different groups of people, different communities. And so I accepted it and I basically started a new channel, which is specifically designed for Fortnite, trying to, you know, follow the way that YouTube kind of goes into splitting up. Because I feel like everyone is like in this vertical. Instead of being like, oh, hey, look, there's Stat. He is a gamer. They look at like, oh, there's Stat. He's PUBG dude. And I wish that it was more like, oh, he's a gamer and not like he's PUBG dude. Because if I upload stuff that isn't, or stream stuff that isn't PUBG, unless it's brand new, it's hard to get people to come in. You know, other than the regulars that come in, who I appreciate, obviously, and not trying to downplay that at all. Like I wouldn't be anywhere without the core community that is here. The thing is, when you want to grow your channel and you want to play something new, you want to hope that the algorithm is going to send new people in, or somehow eyeballs are going to come. And it comes to the point where it feels like they won't, because the majority of the people that are on your channel are maybe ignoring what you're playing because that's not what they know you for. Or maybe YouTube's algorithm doesn't even show them that you're live. So yeah, I'm the PUBG dude. I would rather be the beard dude. Yes, 10-minute break says that, you know, the beard dude. That's funny. But yes, so basically I'm at the point here where after seeing that video from Uber, and then just being and seeing how the ecosystem of YouTube is kind of in right now with YouTube Live and how everything is Fortnite, it's a weird spot. And so I can imagine that there are people who are playing Fortnite right now who've been playing it since it came out, you know, last year, and they're experiencing this this like game fatigue where they're basically playing the same game for the last you know, 6, 7, 8 months. And some people play the same game for even longer. And I mean, some of the huge channels have been playing the same game for years, and it's got to have some sort of fatigue on them and make them not want to play the game. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do when you don't have a way to swap over? Like, do you just suck it up and keep going? How do you know, do you have to act like you're having a good time? Do you have to pretend that you're enjoying this? Like, what is it that you got to do? Because, you know, for me, if I don't like to play a game, you can read it on my face. And there was a while back where basically PUBG was just very frustrating for me, and I had nothing else I felt like I could play. There was no new games. I couldn't play Fortnite, and I felt like I was frustrated. I felt like it was causing me to be down, and like that's not how I want to stream. I want to have a good time and like enjoy the stream. So people, you know, it's not easy to pretend. And like, and I don't even want to pretend, right? I want to like just go on and have a good time. And so right now it's kind of like this lull in live streaming games. And you know, some games came out that were really cool, like Detroit Become Human, God of War, but they last like a couple of streams and then they're kind of just done. And so yeah, that comes to and that's why these things are together, like streamer burnout. You are kind of bored of a game, or you're frustrated with a game, you don't want to play it anymore, but you can't really switch over to another game. So then you're basically streaming all the time with your free time, but then you're playing a game that you don't necessarily want to play because you want to grow your channel. And then it's tough because you're making sacrifices in your life to play something that isn't fun necessarily to you anymore. And it causes a lot of problems, I think, for some people that don't want to accept the fact that when you get into streaming, you're gonna get into that situation. That situation is gonna happen. You are gonna be in a spot where you feel obligated to play a game. And if you feel obligated to play a game, then the time that you do spend playing games might be on something you don't want to play. So it's tough. I mean, it is a tough situation, and I don't think many people talk about it often enough when getting into live streaming, about how it can be so frustrating where you feel trapped inside of a box, basically. Or it's more of a vertical than a box. But I don't think that there's a way to get out of it, really. You have to... I think what can be helpful is if you choose a genre. You choose a genre and you specifically focus on that genre. Like if you want to do survival, or if you want to do obviously battle royale. But even then, battle royale genre doesn't matter because Fortnite doesn't connect with PUBG community, and vice versa. They kind of clash. Same way with like Battlefield and Call of Duty. So even if you're in the same genre, maybe they won't even connect. Like survival sort of crosses over survival genre and horror, but the other genres, sometimes they clash. So it's like this really weird place to be in. And I feel like I'm kind of like in that spot right now where I'm super excited for games that are coming out and just super desperate for a new realistic battle royale game that is optimized. And you know, Call of Duty mentioned they're coming out with a new battle royale, and like I'm down to try it. I'm down to try the battle royale on Call of Duty. I'm looking forward to Battlefield 5. I'm looking forward to Red Dead. You know, there was just a Fallout teaser that just came out, and supposedly that's an online survival game. I have no idea if that is true or confirmed. I do not think it's confirmed. It is just some people have talked about it. So these are things I'm looking forward to. But you gotta, if you're gonna do this, you gotta accept the fact that you are potentially hurting your channel, because you're not growing as fast as you would if you only played one game. Because when YouTube sees people ignoring your notifications or ignoring your videos and scrolling through them, scrolling past them because you're playing a game they don't like, YouTube sees it as a negative sign, and they don't send as many people to your stream. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's a complicated situation to be in. And I mean, on Twitch too, I've definitely seen people like try to get out of their vertical, and sometimes it works, but the difference on Twitch is that there is a top-down system where if you have enough people who watch you and you want to switch over to another game, you will be somewhere up in the on the algorithm in their top-down browse section, where people could find you that like that game. Like it feels like on YouTube, when you're trying to play something new, they won't find you organically. There's no like top down, be like, oh, I like Dark Souls, so I'm gonna hang out in the Dark Souls, you know, category. It's more like, you know, how do they find people to send to you that like Dark Souls? The only people really are people that are searching for Dark Souls. But how many people are searching for Dark Souls right now on YouTube? I don't know. But it can't be as many people as are sitting, you know, or that want to watch a live stream, because just searching for Dark Souls doesn't mean they want to watch a live stream. So I think YouTube is missing a vertical top-down section where people can browse, and that way you can maybe play a different game and still get something, like your eyes, like some eyes from another category given to you. Am I gonna play Agony? I don't know, man. Agony is I don't know what Agony is, other than that it's supposed to be really disturbing. So I have no idea. YouTube Gaming says you're on sub from Stat. See, there's a lot of other problems that aren't even related to this, but I really worry about new streamers who get into this and new people who want to start streaming. They don't realize like what kind of sacrifice you need to make to do it, and how it can affect you in a way, not only like yourself, but the people around you. And you got to be prepared for that. And you also have to be prepared for the shortcomings of live streaming, where you feel stuck playing a certain game. And especially on YouTube, I feel like that's the case. And the channels that are blowing up right now are all Fortnite channels. And, you know, those are people who play Fortnite every day. They play Fortnite every day. If they try and play something else, their numbers are drastically cut down. And I mean, I don't get that. You have, like, you know, they got millions of subs, but if they play a different game, they just disperse. They don't even show up. So I don't get how, you know, how do you transition from this one game channel to a new game if there is no new game that is coming out? Like I said, all the Call of Duty channels that were kind of fluttering and just doing not much, just kind of hanging out, transitioned to Fortnite, and is like Fortnite's their savior, and which is great for them. But if that didn't come along, what do you do? Like, and there's plenty of other games, I'm sure, that have caused channels to blow up and then die because there's like no way to transition them to something else, and that game has lost its steam. What are we talking about? We are talking about we're talking about two things: game fatigue and streamer burnout. So burning out meaning you basically are spending all this time live streaming and it's exhausting. And not only is it exhausting, you also have the issues with game fatigue where you're tired, you want to stream, but then you got to feel like, before you go live, like, what am I going to play? Oh, do I have to play the same thing? That's the safe bet, because those are people who are going to come hang out while you're playing the same thing. And it can cause even more stress and fatigue. One second, let's take a sip of something. So yeah, that is what we're talking about. And I'm going to have some people jump in now who want to talk about the streamer fatigue if they've experienced it. If you guys are sponsors, you can come into the Discord section of sponsored chat, and if you want to talk about your experience with game fatigue or streamer burnout, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We can discuss it further. Is that vodka? It is not. It is not whiskey. So yeah, if you guys are interested and you are a sponsor, you can come join in, and we'll hear what they have to say and continue the conversation with them. So I'm going to jump into the sponsor chat right now, and let's see if we can get some people to share their experiences with me. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Stellar Will, AM,
Hello.
Josh Action Actin, Taco Fizz, bassist dude. Chris's face is in his own channel there. How's it going, guys?
Good, very good. Very curious topic.
So what do you guys, does anyone want to, if anyone has experienced something like this, would you like to share your experience with game fatigue or streamer burnout?
I mean, I would love to. This topic is definitely needs to be talked about for sure.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Stellar Will. Stats.
Hi.
I had my 6 months
What's
yesterday
up, Clintus?
on YouTube streaming.
How's it going, dude?
And I've experienced a lot in those 6 months, and it's been a very interesting ride when it comes to streaming and picking games and game choices. And I mean, you hit a lot of points, but I think one point is really, really huge. Is that you spend a lot of time devoting yourself into streaming. So, you know, maybe you may spend 4 or 5 hours streaming a day, but it takes a lot more effort in overlays, behind the scenes kind of stuff. So I've worked managerial jobs 40 hours a week, and this is definitely the hardest job that I've ever took on task. And I definitely feel like it's definitely it's definitely tough for people to be like, oh, you just press live and just go. No, it's not. It's not like that. There's so much that goes into it, especially with game choices and all that kind of stuff. And with Fortnite now, and I've never seen anything like this. I played video games for a while. I mean, even Call of Duty was big, but Fortnite it has broken everything. I mean, just the way that the live pages are, how many people stream it. I mean, on Mixer the other day, I started doing some Mixer streams, and it was, I think, 10,000 people were streaming Fortnite
On
and
Mixer.
on Mixer, and the next closest game was PUBG, and it was 600, 700.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy. It's a free game. It's accessible to everybody. It's PG. It's friendly. So it's broken a lot of things, and it's tough, man. And you said Burnout and playing it every day, and it's for me, it's not an 8 hour a game, 8 hour a day game. It's really not. It gets frustrating after a while.
So what do you do?
That's the whole point. You got to vary it up and with variety and stuff, but YouTube doesn't reward that as a streamer. It doesn't.
So what do you do?
You try to just build a community with what you have and try to just be as genuine as you can, and it's all about vibes. Like, I like you, I like Basis Dude, and all these people who just go by vibes, and no matter what game they play, I go in by vibes. And I know a lot of people don't like it like that, or don't watch it because they watch for wins or watch for competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these Fortnite channels have so many people, but it's definitely interesting to see that just going by vibes doesn't quite cut it enough, really. I'm definitely curious to see what happens after Fortnite dies and all these games die. And all I want is YouTube to reward variety. And it's like you said, it's a struggle kind of finding that. Like, what do you do?
Well, I mean, the thing is, when you play video games, I know some people do play video games and they find a game that they love, and that's all they play for a while, months, even maybe years. But afterwards, they're going to start playing something else. And that's just the evolution or the natural evolution of playing video games. But YouTube doesn't see it like that. And so if you build up a huge following in one thing, it's super difficult to transition. And then, if you're at a point where you're making a lot of money with views, switching over to something that isn't getting you views is technically a bad business decision.
Mm-hmm. It's not cost effective because you're getting that revenue out of views, and now instead of maybe relying on just views, you have to rely more on donations and sponsorships, which are in itself fickle.
Yeah.
Can I comment?
Yeah. What?
Of course, Josh.
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Good. Josh Acton, you guys know me. My question is, and this is just what I mean for you, Stat. It's one thing. For me, it's completely different. Right. I have a couple kids. I have a full-time job. I stream because I love it. So I think the question is, what is your motivation, and how should that color how you deal with game fatigue and streamer burnout? There may be things you should do because of the way YouTube handles it. But I mean, if you're like me, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love having people around, but I mean, if I've got 5 people watching me playing, Ring of Elysium or something, I'm okay with that.
Right.
I mean, I'm having a blast getting to play. So I think, if everybody's looking for, this is a second job, I'm looking for a supplementary income, or I want to turn this into, I mean, yeah, that's the dream, right? Everybody wants to be, well, frankly, everyone wants to be used at.
No,
but, move to California and, stream full time and just play all the games. Yeah. The struggle is definitely real. I just think, you have more options. I have more options maybe than you do because I'm small and I don't really have the aspiration to get giant sized. So, I mean, if I do, that's fine, but I'm not going to sacrifice my well-being or my entertainment or enjoyment of the whole process. I'm not going to sacrifice that just so I can make everyone or make YouTube's algorithm happy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, see, I think that you make a good point. And there are a lot of people who play streaming or do streaming and just play games for fun, and they, they don't expect much, or they're not necessarily have some sort of huge goal in their mind. And I think that's perfectly cool and totally fine. but there's also there's something about streaming and let's say, you know, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say you're streaming. It doesn't matter if you're streaming to 100 people or 20 people, 500 people or 100 people. It doesn't matter. Like, you're used to seeing these people there, right? You're used to these people being there, you know, a couple times a week or whenever you stream, they come and say hello. But, you know, if you keep doing things that are not necessarily good for your channel, they might slowly start to disappear. And it's like this weird feeling where you start thinking, like, is it yourself? Is it like, what is the reason for these things happening? Like, is it YouTube? Is it that, you know, you've reached a peak? Is it that you don't, you know, maybe you just don't have the good vibes? Maybe you just don't, maybe there's all these things that like go through your mind. And so the thing is, yeah, it's for fun. When it's for fun, it's cool, but it's still there. There's still that thing that starts to slip away, I think. That for me, for example, like it's not that it feels like anything is slipping away necessarily. It's more that I feel like I'm in a box, and I want to grow the channel by hopefully people seeing the you know, the chill vibes and the fun chat and community and fun times playing video games to come play, to come hang out. But if it's all about like MLG and you know, playing the same game every day, that kind of can turn off a lot of people. So it's like, I can make the choice to only play Fortnite on my main channel and really like piss off a lot of people probably, because that is not what they want. And it's like not necessarily what I want, but it's technically what YouTube wants. And that is like, so like, by, you know, what I'm doing is technically a bad business decision. But I'm doing it because I care more about my community than I care about, you know, getting to 1 million subscribers, because I want to have fun for as long as I do this. And I don't want to get to 1 million subscribers and feel like I didn't have fun getting there, because the whole point of streaming is for it to feel not like a job. And when it starts to feel like a job, then I might as well just go get a fucking job, because like I rather, you know, have fun with everyone around me than focus on that, you know, solo game. And like, it just, I don't see how, like, I used to feel like that. I used to do that. I used to play one game, switch to another game, play one game, switch to another game. But every time I switched the games, it was like I had to rebuild my community. Every time I had to like rebuild the community. And it became this like frustrating, where I was just like, no matter where the popular game was, that's what I played. And then I realized, like, I can't keep doing that, because I just keep rebuilding, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So I'm in a weird position where I basically have accepted that I don't want to necessarily play only one game on my main channel, which is why I started the second channel, where it's like a variety. I could go play a game that I feel like I couldn't play on my main channel, and I could play it there and have fun and not have to worry about YouTube looking at me like, what are you doing? Why are you playing this game? Like, it doesn't go with what your community, you know?
Shine on 5 tat.
Spriggs Games, thank you for the $5 tip. He says shine on stat. Thank you.
Spriggs is awesome.
Thank you, Spriggs. If anyone else, I feel like this is, you guys should be talking, and I'm just going on here. If anyone else has experience that has anything to do with what we talked about, please let me know. I'd like to hear your experience.
Crickets.
All of you are streamers. Tell me.
I mean,
I don't
there
know
we
that I
go.
can relate to this.
everybody like
All the mute buttons.
Everyone unmuted.
Fortnite
Go.
day one.
Okay, go ahead. What'd you say, Basis Dude?
So I don't know that I can relate to the topic necessarily, because I've loved Fortnite from day one
Oh,
and have kind of built my channel around Fortnite. So
yeah.
I don't know that this is for me.
well, you build your channel around PUBG, so maybe you have that to kind of.
I'm joking, dude. Of course,
okay.
I'm joking.
Basis Dude memes. I didn't know that.
I get burnout of doing what I'm doing once a week, man. Like, there's a reason I don't stream 7 days a week. And it's not just because I'm busy all the time. I basically just, I don't want to be playing the same game every day, all day for 6 hours a day, going to the gym, going to work, doing all that stuff, and just basically living Groundhog Day every day. I mean, that sucks, dude. Nobody wants to do that with their life, regardless of what your job is, being a streamer or, you know, digging ditches for 40 years. There's no fun in that. And I think Fortnite's part of the problem, sure, but it's the same way with PUBG now. It's the same way with every game that's out, and I'm just waiting for E3 to save me.
So you agree that like you feel like you're in a box
all the time, dude.
And then what? That feeling where you have your spare time and you want to go do a live stream, and in your mind you're like, I can only play one game basically.
There's no point in me playing anything other than PUBG, and I don't feel like playing PUBG that day. Then I might as well not stream. It's pretty bad. I mean.
But do you focus on the numbers?
Sure, I focus on the numbers a little bit, because it would be awesome to one day be like, oh yeah, dude, I can do this full time. But right now, it's so unrealistic. My channel basically ballooned up to like 3,500 subs, and ever since then, it's been the biggest grind for like the last 6 months just to get where I am now. And that dream is not so realistic.
But does it feel like a gut punch if you're streaming PUBG, you have 100 viewers, and then you want to stream another game, but you only get 15 or 20?
Yeah.
Does that make you want to be like, I don't want to stream anymore?
Yes, to an extent. But at the same time, if there's a game I really want to play, like, okay, I popped in Raft, last week, and it ended up getting really good numbers. I ended up having like 90 people watching that game. If I would have had 9 people watching the game, I probably was still going to beat that game on stream regardless. Just because I was having fun with it. But there are times when I pop in a game and I'm just like, this is very mediocre, or I'm not having the time of my life with it. And then I look over and I got 2 people watching, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing right now? Why don't I go play Battlefield 1 on Xbox in front of nobody and just have fun?
Yeah, well, I think you nailed it there, because it does become a grind. And then when you do have that moment to sit down and play video games, because you would be probably play video games anyways, but now you feel required to play a certain game, which is not what you necessarily feel like playing. And it becomes super frustrating because you feel like that there's nothing else you could do to like help the channel.
Right.
When it comes to live streaming.
I'm not a huge, a lot of people know I'm not a huge fan of Fortnite, and I know that that's one of the tickets to at least getting some new eyeballs into your stream. But it's, at this point for me, it's really just not worth it to play on stream, because I mean, I'm not very good at the game. Nobody's gonna be watching me if I'm not very good at the game, and people can tell that I'm just like memeing the entire time of how much I think the game is great, even though I definitely don't. So they kind of pick up on that pretty quick, and I get blacklisted by it. I think a lot of people for that. I know more people.
How dare you express your feelings?
But would you rather be disingenuous and fake it?
Hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no. I will be real until the grave, bro. But like, I know more people that have blacklisted me as a streamer or as a person, as a human being, for not liking Fortnite than I've gotten subs in the last 3 months. And that's just the facts. And I'm fine with it.
That's unfortunate. I think that there's the thing is, like, games are just games. I mean, being so like into a game shouldn't cause, fights between. I never liked like the Battlefield versus Call of Duty or Fortnite PUBG shit, like, or Xbox PS4. It's just so stupid, and and I think that it causes this split in the community that should be all happy.
I watched you chase a portal that didn't exist for weeks.
They should be happy together, you know what I mean? Like, we're all playing video games.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Beardo forever.
It's like we're fighting
forever
over
Beardo.
religion.
Hefe Gully, thank you so much for the $50 tip. What the heck, man? Thank you so much, dude. Hefe Gully, an OG.
Religion, and I'm like, I'm
thank you, dude.
away from being like, just don't say play Fortnite, don't say play PUBG. Because
thank you, my friend.
I'd rather you just throw a bunch of politic memes in my Discord than talk about that stuff, because it probably is about 20% of the streamers that I know that I grew my channel with have just completely stopped engaging with me whatsoever because I won't play Fortnite, or because I meme too hard on it or whatever. And I just don't give a shit at this point. I
played Fortnite on stream, I think, a few times, and I think the last time I played it, I got like 15 subs, and then the very next day I lost 12 because I was playing something else. So I was like, okay,
That's
I'm not,
another
I'm not
thing, yes.
playing. I'm not playing Fortnite anymore because I'm getting the wrong kind of
That's another
support,
thing
I
that
suppose, from it.
I didn't even touch on that, but yeah, that is completely true. Like if you're building up on one thing and then you try to switch over, as you're switching over, you're gonna start like bleeding subscribers because they don't want to see what you're doing now. So you're right, Taco Fizz, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started off, I did VODs, and then I went to streaming, and then it was just like Hitman stuff, and I grew my channel pretty, I think the first 1,000 subs I got was probably just because of Hitman. And then after that, it was like I started introducing other things, and you gain some, you lose some, whatever. But to me, I don't know. This has never been like, this is my dream career, or this is my career at the moment. So to me, it's just fun. Like I'll just stream whatever I want, and if there's 8 people watching me versus 30 or 40 on another game, then I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know. I couldn't lock myself into one. I don't want to get. I've had friends that get pegged into a corner, that they're like, I can't play anything else other than GTA because of this or that. And so I don't know. I've seen that happen to other people. So I'm like, I'll just stream. I'll just play what I want to play. And if people want me to play something else and whatever, then we'll just take it from there. But I don't know. I can't get pegged down to 1 or 2 games.
That's the hardest thing is finding a balance where you're having a good time, community's happy, YouTube algorithm is understanding, and you can have fun. And I think that there's this weird balance that is super hard to pinpoint. And the one thing I also think happens is some people's personalities don't necessarily click with the game that they like. So it's like they don't necessarily click with the people who like the game that they like. So there's this weird thing where like the vibe of the person doesn't click together. So then all of a sudden they got to try something new, and then they get stuck playing a game they don't necessarily like. And you're in this weird spiral of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily do if you weren't live. And I think that is not necessarily a place that is healthy for long term, at least.
Yeah, so for me, it's like I want to grow my channel, sure, but at the same time, I don't want to get locked down to 1 or 2 things. So that's why I'll play whatever. I'll do a VR stream. I'll go wherever I want with it, and then, or if there's people that put out suggestions, then I'll take those suggestions. But I don't really get a lot of people in my chat that'll pop in and be like, play Fortnite. But I'm like, because you've never seen me play Fortnite.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not very good at it.
I think that not doing it full time is kind of a double-edged sword too, in that I basically can maybe give this 20% of my entire life. And because of that, I kind of just cannot give a crap too much and about what people are doing, saying, thinking, or whatever, and whether they're going to come watch my stream or not. And I can just kind of do my own thing, be relaxed about it, regardless of if I'm just, streaming myself playing a stickman fighting game or something, or if I'm actually playing PUBG and just saying whatever's on my mind. And if it works out, it does. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But at the same time, like I said, you basically only get to donate 20% of your time to yourself to do it.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add to this conversation about the struggles? The struggles of game fatigue and streamer burnout. If anyone's like come close to feeling like they can't, because I know for me, I've been there before where I wake up. Sometimes but the night before I'm lying in bed and I'm just thinking like, what am I gonna play tomorrow? Like I don't know what to play, and like I don't know what I'm gonna stream, and then I'm just like looking on Steam and I'm just like, what can I play tomorrow? And then it usually ends up just going back to what I would normally play, and instead of being rewarded for trying something cool and new, it's like it feels like it's just you're doing it for yourself. And it would be cool if there was some sort of benefit to going outside your box and playing something that isn't necessarily what you would play on a normal day-to-day basis. So that's something I would love to see from YouTube, is rewarding trying something new, rewarding like a different game instead of not rewarding it. I mean, I don't know why YouTube does, like YouTube Live acts the way it does, but This is only YouTube Live related, by the way. I mean, like I said, if anyone who streams on Twitch wants to give feedback on this, I would love to hear feedback from people who stream on Twitch or Mixer about swapping up games and how it affects the numbers. Because I don't have that. I don't have enough information on that. So, but yeah.
I understand that struggle. Waking up every
You know
day.
what's
Chris,
sorry,
hi
go
Chris.
ahead, Will.
No. You go,
Hey.
Chris. You haven't talked.
You know what's you know what I think how I think personally is switching games is okay, but I think like if the game doesn't do good and you going from a chat, like say you have a good hardcore community PUBG, right?
Yeah.
Then you go to a game that you really want to play and you want to interact with, like everyone got into streaming not because they are playing, well, some people, you know, have that in their mind that's kind of far-fetched that they're going to be the biggest YouTuber or streamer ever, but people get into it to hang out. I got into it to hang out with people and talk to them while I play video games. And I think a problem is when people start seeing like a good flowing chat and they go play something else in the chat, you might not have this problem because you are a lot more well established than the people just starting off now, but I can speak for myself at least. Going from like a flowing chat to a chat that really is kind of standstill, it's kind of like, it's kind of tiring because you're trying to like come up with conversations and stuff like that. So I think that is more punishing than the whole number situation and not getting subs or stuff like that. I think it's a lot harder to stream a new game and not get recognized or have people like a flowing chat than it is seeing your numbers drop.
But
Like,
isn't that sort of the same thing? Like they're
not
connected
really,
in a
like,
way, right? Like your lower numbers,
kind
less
of.
people talking.
Lower numbers, less people talking, but you can still have like 20 people and have a flowing chat. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the game. Yeah, definitely.
So I think of that. Like, I played Detroit Become Human and I got demonetized, and I had like only like my core community there, but the chat was flowing. I had just as good a time playing PUBG. But then I go play another game, and the chat's really not that into the game or something like that. I think that's more penalizing than seeing your numbers drop as far as your total views on your video or something like that. Because I'm okay with dealing with some lower numbers for a little bit if I'm having fun with the, either the core community or people in the chat. But I think it's more punishing, you know, when you feel that you either your community or the chat's not into the game, and you kind of start like, you know, now you're just staring at a screen at some points, and that's never fun.
Yeah, no.
You know
So
what I mean?
I hear
So,
exactly
like,
what you're saying. I
think
agree
that's
with
more
you.
punishing than anything. So that makes you want to go, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna do PUBG, like, or I'm gonna do Fortnite, or you know, something like that you know that is gonna like bring in a good chat.
Right.
Especially being a smaller channel, not being, you know, not having hundreds of thousands of people. You know, if you even get 10% of those people to come and watch you, you still have a percentage of getting a really good flowing chat.
Right.
Compared to, you know, someone less than 10,000.
Right.
So I think that's more like demeaning than anything else as far as where I am. I would never, like, I don't care about growing really, really fast as long as this is my job, because I never want to go back to digging trenches and doing electrical work. But I don't know. I think that's more punishing than anything as far as the numbers go.
But I agree.
Really
I mean,
my
the thing
point.
is, like, that even happens to me. I mean, like, it is something that what you just said is very true. Like, there's some games that just don't encourage interaction, or you know, maybe the people who talk the most don't come or show up, or like, I don't know why it happens or why some games encourage people to interact more, but it definitely happens. And a lot of times it
that's
does
the
happen when
blood.
you switch games. And then
That's
what
a-
happens is someone new comes in and no one's talking. It's kind of like this, who's going to say something next thing.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a healthy vibe for everyone there. And I agree with you. But I also think it has something to do with the numbers. Like, if the numbers were maybe a bit better, then you'd have some maybe new people coming in and, you know, to fill the gap of people who didn't show.
Mhm.
And I think that's the problem, is that it's like this, instead of like if you're doing really well, then YouTube just keeps feeding you, It feels like it's like, oh, you're you know, things are going well, chat's flowing, numbers are good, you know, you're doing well. It's gonna keep growing or staying very stable. But like if it's the opposite, sometimes it feels like when you try something new, it's like it goes up and then it's just a slow trickle down to like you know, where it's gonna land or wherever it is. But it just doesn't seem stable sometimes when you're playing new games. It's just super you start off maybe high with your like initial stream and then it slowly, you know, goes down, which I feel like shouldn't happen. Like when you're live streaming, I feel like you should be, you know, stable or growing. It's weird when it's like you start streaming and you kind of move, like go up and then it's just like a slow trickle down for the rest of the stream. At least on Twitch, I see a lot of streams that do better over time versus on YouTube where it seems like it's the opposite usually.
Yeah, like the tail end of the stream, it'll be less popular and less flowing as opposed to the beginning of the stream or, you know, an hour into it. Definitely, for sure. And then also kind of to expand on what Chris said, is it's the kind of game, because, you know, that's why single player games don't do well. Like on a small channel like mine, is because everyone's really lurking, watching. No one's really chatting. Everyone's kind of very focused on the story, the game, the way the game's being played. Like Detroit as well. And then I go to a game like Fortnite or PUBG or Rings of Elysium, and everyone's commenting, oh, this and that, you know, blah, blah, talking, oh, that's a nice kill, or oh, good kill, or oh, you ran that guy over. So it's like there's lots of more things happening in multiplayer games, especially BRs, because, you know, it's like one life, you have more risk. You know, but there's moments of time where I'll be playing a game and it'll be just people talking. Even there's 25, 30 people in my stream.
Right.
So it's definitely, I do feel that when it comes to the choice of game, not only does that affect the numbers, but even when the numbers are good, sometimes the chat isn't there and the entertainment value goes down because you have to start talking to yourself like you have one or two people watching you, when really that's not the case.
It would be
man.
It would be cool to see and just for the Jacob, just so you know, you could join in, it's fine. It's not for streamers only. The thing is, I wish there was more of a information in terms of analytics. I know there's a lot of analytics, but I'd prefer like a more of a breakdown in some way to know, like when you switch games, if you can compare, like I know you can compare streams, but the comparisons are very broad. I would love to see like more info about, like, I don't know, the people that are watching your stream and like who, like how many people that were in this, you know, in all the other streams this week ignored this stream that you just did that was different, or like something to give you an indication of if you're hurting your core community, or like how many people ignored the notifications versus, you know, and like an easy way to do it, you know, an easy way to compare my stream today to the stream last week, you know, and like just to give people a better example of what people want to see and what people want to watch you play, because there's a lot of I guess you could say like darkness. You don't know what people want necessarily. You don't know, and you kind of just have to take a stab in the dark, and it's hit or miss.
Agreed. I wish they just give analytics.
Yeah, better analytics would be nice for streaming related analytics. I know that at least on YouTube it's very VOD related, and it'd be cool to have something more gamer related or streamer related for more information. But yeah, I mean, you could send out polls on Twitter, Jonathan. It's true, but
you need a following base though.
Yeah, and
you know, not everyone has a Twitter.
And the vocal, sometimes the most vocal people are the minority. So like you may stream and get a lot of people who say play this, but the people that are sitting there lurking who don't say anything, those people are also extremely important and usually outweigh the vocal minority of the people saying what they want to see. And we don't really know, like, because a lot of people don't talk. A lot of people just sit there and hang out and want to hear your voice and lurk and do whatever else they're doing at the same time. And they don't lurk, they don't say anything. And they're just sitting there, and they're like a huge part, and I would say a lot larger base than the people who talk. And they they dictate also like what, you know, what they what they want to see, because they come or they don't come, and that is, you know, gives an idea to the analytic or to the algorithm to say, hey, this is what people want to see or what they don't want to see. And if they don't say anything, it's kind of hard to know, because they're just kind of, you know, they're there or they're not there based on if they like what you're doing or not, and they don't say anything. So it's tough sometimes. I'm just sitting here. See, Otto, you lurker.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, man.
Hey, Jacko.
Hi, Jacko.
Just a quickie. I'm a bit nervous, so if I fall over my words, sorry.
No worries,
I
dude.
agree with I agree with Stat about the lurk thing, because mostly with time zones with me, like Chris, I'm not him. He starts like 2 p.m. for me when I'm still at work, and I lurk there and work, so it's kind of hard to chat and so on. And like also I'm after work, I'm out on the road, so it's sometimes hard to be active in the chat and so on. And a person like me, I think it comes also about the personality of your viewers. Like Basis dude said it once when I was playing with him on stream. I'm not really a guy that talks a lot and chats a lot, so it can also be not people just lurking, working, or just maybe watching on their TVs or so on. They might just be people that don't like to talk, or maybe is too scared to talk. Like I subbed you back in August 2016, and I actually got active in chat back in June, July last year. So, like me, I was scared of what the people might think of me, because I'm the only or one of the few Africans in your chats. So I think that might be one thing. I don't know what you guys think. That's my personal opinion.
Love you, Jacko. Sorry.
No,
It's super great to have you in the chat, and I think that's super interesting to learn that you've been there for like a year before you said anything, and like that is, you know, that must happen to a lot of people. And then, like, you know, you start talking and you realize that like you fit, you know, you have a good time, and you're enjoying the conversation, and everyone's cool, and like it, you know, that is, but there's that fear that is there a lot of times, and I totally get that, and I think that people sometimes, you know, take that risk to have some to come out of their shell and say something, and it's usually for the best, because I mean, you're a chill dude, and it's awesome to have you speak in the chat, and you know, you get along with everyone who's there, and it's just something that, like, if you never would have said anything, then you know, you never would have known. And so it's really cool that you did that, and you have an awesome accent, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks, Stat. And I just want to quickly add to that. With that I'm not being active, I didn't learn people better. Like I can call a couple of names. Like I didn't know Chris was streamer. I didn't know Mugo or Phoebe or Luke. I didn't know those people personally, and by chatting and having conversations with them, I know them a lot better, and I made a lot of friends just by chatting with streamers and so on in chat.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps a lot, and it boosts my confidence a lot more. Like I felt like I was more involved in the community when I started chatting in the streams and so on.
Do you know what made you first say something? Like that first time you sent a message, do you remember like why you said something? Or because I'm so curious, like how because you were technically by definition a lurker. How did you transition to active member of the community, and like what was the moment that happened that you know realized you wanted to say something?
I don't know, to be honest. It was this like you were playing PUBG, and like PUBG was hype and so on. Everybody was chatting. I think you had maybe like 1K watching you at that moment, and it's just something just said. Don't be nervous. Don't be afraid. Just say something.
Right.
Just start talking. Like I am. Okay, I'm going to be personal. If I talk too much, just stop me. I was bullied a lot at school and so on back in my youth, and that made me sort of not want to talk a lot to people, just shutting myself, closing myself down. And after I moved away from the hometown and so on, I just started to feel alone. And I remember everybody was talking about No Man's Sky, and I was like, oh, I need to see something that it is hype. And it was like near my birthday, maybe buy a birthday gift. And out of the blue, I see a man streaming it for the first time, and with a beard. I was so hyped about it. And I was like, yeah, watch it. And I think he said, it's going to be a short stream, and it turned out to be a 13-hour stream that day.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Hey, like I said,
Hashtag
I
Jacko.
watched that, and some people said where they from, and I feel like not a part of it because where I live and so on. I say a lot of people, I think sometimes I'm the only Namibian on YouTube chatting with streamers or chatting with people and so on. So it feels weird, to be honest.
But I mean, you have a good time, right? That's all that matters.
Yes, that's 100% true.
And Hefe Gully just tipped $20 and said hashtag Jacko. So thank you, Hefe Gully, and thank you for sharing your story. I do appreciate it. And these like roundtable things are, you know, this one specifically, I was talking about streamers and what they're going through, but absolutely, it's for sponsors too who want to jump in and have something to say and share their experience. I think that everyone can learn from not only another streamer but also a viewer, especially someone who used to sit and be a lurker and then transition to an active member of the community. So it's really cool to hear your story, and I really appreciate you sharing. And I really appreciate everyone coming by today for this streamer roundtable. We're going to continue to do these every month, and it's just been a lot of fun. And I like talking about this stuff. It's definitely different from what's it called? It's different from what I normally do, but I do like doing them. It kind of gets a little more personal and talk about the struggles or the fun times of live streaming. And so yeah, thank you everyone for sharing your stories. And that's gonna be it for today's roundtable. So I'm gonna be ending. I'm gonna just jump out of the sponsor chat, but I'm gonna keep talking on the stream. So thank you guys for sharing.
Of course, man.
Bye bye.
Always a
Portal
blast.
is too scary for
Thank
me
you
to
very
talk.
much, that.
Bye.
Love you.
Later, guys. Boo says Goomba Girl is scary to talk to, for me to talk. What? Why do you say that, Boo? Oh my god. Guys, hashtag Boo in the chat. Thank you, dude. That's a tip train, by the way. And we got 2 beards to put up on the board. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. You guys are amazing. We got to put 2 beards up on the board for one of the OGs back in the day, Hefe Gully. Still hanging out. I appreciate you, man. And thank you so much for the support. It means a lot. It really does. So thank you. I appreciate it. Let me just put this up on the board. Hefe Gully. Hefe Gully. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you. So guys, that is going to be it for today's... blech. Man, I'm so tired. Woo. Okay. That is going to be it for today's Streamer Roundtable. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We're not going to do a raid, but I am going to give you guys a link, okay? A link, and you guys can go check it out. This was launched today, basically. I put out this video, and I would like you guys to go check it out. If you have not seen it already, we talk about the PUBG versus Fortnite, and here's the link in the chat. You guys can go check it out. If you've watched it, just leave a comment if you have not already, or drop a like. You can share it with your friends. And here is the link to that. If you guys want to check out my take on the whole lawsuit thing between PUBG and Fortnite, I appreciate you guys going to show some love to that uploaded video. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. I appreciate everyone hanging out today. And I'm going to have a story for you tomorrow. I will have a story for you tomorrow in the morning. So make sure you're there. I can't tell you what it is, but if you're there, you'll hear it. All right. Take care, my friends. Have a great night. And click that link to go show some love to my video. Bye. Later, guys.